Welcome to Market Buzz. I'm Greg Schnell, the Canadian technician and host of the Market Buzz. Each show we do a deep dive into different industries using weekly charts to see what is happening on a long timeline. Please follow me on Twitter at Schnell Investor, and you can also find my blogs at gregschnell.com as well as stockcharts.com. So, the big thing we're going to check out this week is the mid-cap high flyers. And last week we had quite a wild swing in the markets, and they dropped almost 5%, so I called that a bizarre bombing of the markets on Thursday. And then this week we've already kicked off, with a big rally. And now what I want to check out is after we've had that kind of check back, I want to see what is also coming, what is also rising up. So one of the things I did was I went in to look for strong mid caps. And then from the strong mid caps, I wanted to rank them in order of stuff that has moved up the most in a week. So that would include the drop down last week and the move up this week. And that should give us some pretty exciting names. And I think you'll agree when we go through the charts. So these are off the radar, not necessarily off the radar, but they're not in the large cap list, which a lot of people focus on. But some of the names you'll definitely know because they've been high flyers as well. But I think this ranking will be particularly interesting. So let's go and roll through that. Now, I'll briefly show you what the simple scan I ran is. It's pretty much one line. It's a stock, and it has simple moving average above 400,000 shares a day. And the scooter ranking, or the StockCharts technical ranking for mid caps, is greater than 75. So I just want to look at the top mid cap stocks. You could do this small caps, large caps. You would just change this word in here and get the three different groups where you could use it for ETFs. You could do it for anything like that. So what I did when I ran that was I got a list of stocks. And so the StockCharts technical ranking, all of these are going to be above 75, which is fine. But more importantly is I've ranked them by 1 week. And then I said, put them in the sort order of who moved the most this week over the past few days. So from last Wednesday to this Tuesday. And what we see on here is some stocks really making some significant pushes, but more impressively is when we look at the charts, we're about to see some really exciting shapes. So that's what I want to cover off with you today. So try not to make your scans so complicated that they eliminate a lot of good names. Sometimes just the simplest stuff can work out great. So this is Zoom Communications, and it IPO'd in April of 2019. So literally just getting going, and we all know that it's been a home run stock, but it broke through this 180 level, which it had kind of paused around for a month, and now it literally seems to continue climbing up. So this one looks pretty obvious, but you've heard the name Zoom Video on TV. But here's a name I don't think has been as public. Avalara, and this stock was trying to get through this $100 level really for 4 or 5 weeks here. But what I like specifically on here is it has started to push up above 110 and is now on its way. It looks like it's just getting started. So you had the big breakout, the consolidation, and with this move today, it looks to me like it's ready to run. And maybe I should just show the indicators that I've got in here. So everything that we should see from these stocks all are above this blue line. This blue line represents 75%. And what this means is the stocks I'm looking at in the mid-cap space are the top performers. So they'll be in the top quadrant, or they'll be above the 75% line. And we should see these quite up near the top. Well, obviously some of them are higher than others. 99% was Zoom, and then some of these will be a little bit weaker. But we can all see that they're starting to uptrend compared to the S&P 500, and that's very bullish. Their full stochastic should be above 50, but I think in most cases you'll see that these have been starting to light up pretty good. And then the actual price action, I've got the 10-week and the 40-week, and obviously moving up above here, we've got a positive angle where we have price above the 10-week, above the 40-week. And we can see that these lines are starting to separate, which suggests more strength. So they're actually picking up speed as they're leaving. And this stock was very good in the early half of 2019 after IPOing in 2018. And again, consolidated for almost a year and is just now starting to break out. So I like that particular shape. And of course, I've got volume in here just to see if something's going crazy. These are weekly charts, so don't worry that the last bar isn't as big as the rest of them. Okay, here's DocuSign. We've heard about that one, and if you've done a real estate deal, you've probably seen a DocuSign type of functionality. This is really taking off to the upside. The scooter ranking is ticked up at the top, 99.5, and the full stochastic is trimmed right at the top here. So this stock continues to run and looks strong. Here's Wayfair, and I like Wayfair for the same reason I liked Avalara, which was you had a previous high, you spent 6 weeks or so, and now it looks to me like it's ready to start breaking out again. And I don't know about you, but my email gets Wayfair all the time. Here is YY, and what we see on this name had a nice base building here and is breaking out to almost new 52-week highs, which is a little bit nicer than finding it after new 52-week highs, because usually when stocks start to make new 52-week highs, they show up on a lot of scans. So this is mid-June, and this stock was actually, it probably did break out today up onto this level. So it is now at new 52-week highs. But as you watch a stock start to break out, look at this PPO moving above zero for the first time in a year. I like the big base that has been built, and this looks like it wants to get going here. Etsy, we've heard this name before, but same idea like Wayfair, had a big prior high, and it's now consolidating, and we'd like to see it break out above that. Moderna, that one, this name's been popular in the COVID fight, and we saw a big spike high roughly 4 weeks ago, and it's consolidating. I want to see this stock continue to turn up here. They're very, pharmaceutical can go both ways until something's proven. Here's Coupa Software, and this one, I think we've heard this name before, at 180, come up, and it's now consolidating for 5 or 6 weeks. We want to see that start to turn higher, but scooter ranking nice and high, relative strength starting to outperform the S&P 500. MercadoLibre, this stock goes back years. 10 years ago, I had a buddy that was very interested in it. His name was George. And, so I've been following this name in and out. And you can see the scooter ranking, for the most part, stays on the top half of the chart. This looks pretty bullish. Had a big push up in early May and continues to work its way higher. Here's Grubhub. We just heard about their announcements this week, but this one is trying to break out here through this base process, maybe a double bottom, and as it starts to turn up, PPO moving into positive territory, scooter ranking starting to take off, and I think we all know that the food delivery has been a popular space. Here's PagerDuty, and this stock IPO took off with a big run and then really gave it all back. And now here we are just below, or just at the IPO price, call it $25. Tested that earlier this week, and we're moving up to 30. Lots of strength here. I like when the scooter ranking runs up, pulls back, and takes off again. That's a very nice sign, and this stock looks well set up here. Here's Five Below, and I think this is a specialty retailer, but you can see consolidating through this whole 2-year period, then a big pullback. I'm not as excited about this one, just because the retail space is quite hard, but I do like the scooter ranking finally getting above 75, starting to outperform the S&P 500, and the full stochastic says we're well on our way here. So it is below zero, and I do like the fact that the downtrend in momentum has been broken, so perhaps there's more there. I've never shopped there. Shopify, this one just got big news out of Walmart this week that Walmart is partnering with them. They've also got Facebook partnering with them. So you can see the scooter ranking pinned to the top. Stock is well on its way for a small cap or a mid cap, and it is trading at $800 now, so quite a big move. Here's VIPS. This one's been consolidating for 3 or 4 months here, and right up at the top end of the range, looks like it's ready to break out to new highs, and that would also take out the 2018 highs. Pretty exciting. Smartsheet, this one had started to break out, had a big pullback 2 weeks ago, and now is trying to build its base and start to climb up. So if you like this name, you want to watch it here as it starts to turn. You can set your stop nice and close, and if it doesn't hold, let yourself out. Twilio software again, consolidating tight, sideways tight pattern for 6 weeks. Want to see this start to turn and shoot higher. Residio Technologies, no idea what they do. Durable household products. Big downtrend here has been broken. It IPO'd roughly a year and a half ago at $31 and got all the way down to $3, so that's a bit of a haircut. And now we're back above the 40-week moving average, and it looks like there's been pretty nice moves in the last 6 weeks here, so this might have some more fire left in its belly. Scooter ranking just moving above 75. I like the fact that it's broken the downtrend on the S&P 500. It's nice that it IPO'd a little while ago, but anyway, that one suggests more investigation for sure. I like the PPO had also been broken here, so that's a nice change in momentum trend as well. Ring Central, this name's been very popular, but look at that steady climb, just moving bottom left to top right, really, really strong. Elastic Software IPO'd roughly 2 years ago, consolidated in this 75 to 100 area, fell apart in the COVID crisis, and then has moved back up 75 to 90. Tight little area here, I'll call it a flag pattern, and then it looks like it wants to start going higher. ZTO Express, really a nice chart. So this is basing in here and all of a sudden started to push, and we can see that it's really starting to extend its lead now. So that one's a nice chart. Looking in on Variet office REITs, I'm not sure that this is my favorite place, but this has had big wide swings every week. After tight little ranges here for years, here it's putting in $1.50 swings every week. Baidu, I think we've all heard that name before, and scooter ranking trying to get back above 75. Big downtrend here. I want to see that get broken, and I want the PPO to start accelerating higher. It looks okay. Square, this one's got lots of potential, lots of upside potential, and there's a big 2-year base here, and it's just starting to break out to new highs. This looks textbook, really like that, and that whole payment area has changed dramatically, so I think that's a big one. And with Square Technology, they've got some stuff to go buy Bitcoin. They've got some stuff in there for other types of banking. They've really changed. It's a dramatic company. Seattle Genetics, we've heard this name before too. Flagging here for 6 weeks or so. Looks like a bull flag wants to start to turn higher, but you can see the scooter ranking almost for a whole year here, holding up as one of the best mid-cap stocks. Viva Systems broke out just a few weeks ago, I want to say 2 months ago, and has consolidated here for 3 weeks, and now looks like it's ready for another thrust. WP Carey Diversified REIT, again, not my favorite space, but they're definitely breaking the downtrend in momentum here. Might be an opportunity to pick up some of these at a little bit of a bargain. It was up at 90, 87 right before the drop, and now at 75. Alteryx, I like the consolidation here on the software name for almost a year. If this can start to turn up, that would be very, very bullish. Scooter ranking back up around the 90s, and I like the fact that it's broken the downtrend in momentum. I want to see this really start to turn up here. Healthcare Trust of America, starting to make its move. I don't like this one as much. You can see the scale here goes from 20 to 34, so let's call that a $14 scale. Up here, we've got a scale going from 20 to 170. So this one has a lot more upside multiplier. You can see this has moved 6-fold or 8-fold. This one's only, basically up 50%, right? So always watch the scale. If you can't get enough lift here, you're going to sit here and own this stock and not get a lot of price movement. The volatility on here goes from 27 to 29 in 1 week, and yet the whole chart over a 3-year period is only gone from 20 to 34. Here's OKTA, and just trending nicely up and to the right. It's consolidated for a year, briefly broke out here again in the software name. I don't know this software stock, but starting to trend higher again. I like that. Tesla, we probably know the name. It would be hard to miss it. Anyway, still ranked as a mid cap, which surprises me. I would think with the $1,000 stock price and all the shares out there, it would be above that. Anyway, here we go. It's trying to break through this 1,000 level. They've got the new Chinese auto plant going. Lots going on there. Ollie's bargain hunting. You can see a 2-year looks a lot like Etsy's and Wayfair. Looks like it wants to start to break out right now. It's just bull flagging. And what we mean by a bull flag is you have this big, strong pole, and on a P&F chart it looks as a straight line, and then you have it stop and wobble a little bit, and then it can take back off to the upside, so it just consolidates a bit. Here's Carvana breaking out to all-time highs. That looks pretty good. 10-cent holdings trying to do the same here, $55. Looks like a nice push to the upside. I like that one. Yandex, this one, it's been in this area. And one thing I don't like on this chart is see all the big, huge surges, most of them down. So the stock starts to trend and then just falls apart. That one I'd probably avoid just because it's a little too wavy and you haven't made any real money. $24 to $48 over over a 3-year chart, and the only thing you've got on it is a double, and you're buying it right near the top. So no thanks. JD.com, this one's got some nice moves here, at least a triple on the scale, but starting to move up, and you can see it broke through this $50 level. It's now trading on its way to 60. It looks like it's just getting going. Massimo Corp medical equipment. Wow, this chart's been grinding its way higher, but still looks good. Was 80, 160, 240. So it's got a couple of doubles on the chart. And pulled back to the 10-week, a little support here, and perhaps it can take off to the upside. Excelis, I guess, biotech. Lots of these biotech charts have these big gaps both ways. Really hard to own. Need a small position and give them room to run. But scooter ranking up around 75 here. I want to see this. It gapped up and then gave it all back. Really needs to hold in here around this 20 level in order to go higher. Dick's Sporting Goods. I was on their website yesterday. They're working real hard. They've got their online presence going great, and a real consolidation in here around $38. It started to get through the 40 level. I like this. And it was starting to make its big move up here late last year and then rolled over early spring. We'll find out if it's got any more momentum. New York Times, all of these newspaper, New York Times, Washington Post, some of the bigger names have been able to broaden their reach with their internet offering. And you can see that this 3750 layer starting to break through to the upside looks pretty promising. And again, just starting to get going. Maybe there's more gas in the tank on that one. Thor Industries, this one, it's been a popular name, but everybody talking about RV camping this year instead of flying away to Europe. So big uptrend here, looking at around $120, new 2-year highs. That trend looks like it could continue for a while. Jumping in, here's HubSpot, and you can see a 2-year consolidation here and just starting to break out the top of the range. That looks good. And this stock was actually holding up really nicely, scooter ranking staying up here for 2 years, then had some stumbles late last year, and now looks like it's ready to refresh, and perhaps it's got it back together and can start to move up. Sarepta Therapeutics, same thing, consolidating for 2 years. I want to see this one start to actually advance. I like the fact that the scooter ranking is starting to stabilize up here in the top of the range. Americold Realty Trust, again, this one pulled down pretty hard, but just be careful on the scale here. This one's already at $37.50, and it had a straight run higher to $40 and then paused, and now it's back at $37.50. It would really have to have something amazing to make me want to jump into that one. Teradyne Semiconductors, nice push up 2 weeks ago, consolidating in a flag here. Can it start to rock? I think so. And it's got the, just a single pull here in early January. So I like breaking through this 70-75 layer and starting to move higher. Scooter ranking's been strong for a year, had the COVID dip in here, and now it looks like it could start to reaccelerate. Dropbox, we all know what they do. I put some stuff in there today, and as you look across the chart here, it's almost a 2-year base building. As this starts to go through $25, that would be pretty nice. Lots of competition there. Match Group, this one surprises me a lot, actually. It must be very hard for the internet dating businesses with the COVID lockdown. But the stock is sitting here right at the $90 level, and you can see that that's top of the range for over a year. I want to see that push to new highs here. Looks pretty good. It's a nice chart shape, actually. Angie's List, online home construction. I've used this site before too. Interesting how many of these are have been used, but here's Angie, and it's starting to push up here, getting above 9-month highs. I like the consolidation in here, and it looks like it wants to start to continue to run. Wix.com had consolidated, had a big push up, and is now flagging. Still looks good, nothing wrong with the chart. You can see the scooter ranking right up near the top of the range. Trade Desk, again, consolidation for almost 2 years and starting to break out to new highs. That's bullish. I like the fact that this big downtrend is broken. Maybe let's just click on that. So one of the things I like to see, you can see that when you have these little short runs down, the stock all of a sudden starts to break out, and that's a good time to get on board. I like finding those. But this one is more impressive when you get this big 2-year run and it says something is changing over the big picture, and looks to me like it wants to start to go. So that is a much nicer break for me. I like that. Okay, let's just go back. Here's Interactive Corp, same thing, breaking out to new all-time highs. Nothing wrong with that. And Ontario Midstream Corp, you can see big downtrend here and starting to improve. This one doesn't excite me nearly as much. And Logitech, this one's been on fire, starting to break out to a nice upside. Going to avoid the real estate for now. Here's Bayer, specialty chemicals, really a base being built here at $20. A breakthrough, that would be pretty exciting. Another pharmaceutical. Apollo Global Management, these guys kind of hedge fund, if I'm not mistaken, asset managers. So trying to break through to new all-time highs here, and they were up there just before the COVID. They've rallied back, flagged for 3 weeks, and perhaps have an upside left. Okay, so you've got an idea. We just went through 50 or 60 charts that are really nicely set up, but some of the names in the space you might not have heard, and I think there's some good ones in there, and other ones have been quite popular. But as you work through it, I'm just literally looking for scooter rankings that have started to improve, and these are pretty good. Here's Wheat and Precious Metals. This has been a gold stock, been holding up for 2 years, and it's now just down around its 10-week moving average. I'm going to jump out now. Actually, I'll just go to the bottom and actually go to the first one, and I just want to change this to summary. One of the things, here's US Steel, and it was the biggest mover this week, but this chart has a couple of things that I want to focus on just to help identify some of the things I like to look for. So here, when we annotate this chart, first of all, we see that the stock has been underloved for a long period of time, almost 2 years. And with this scooter ranking down here, you can see what the price has been doing. What I like now is this SCTR ranking has actually surged up and is at 75. That's very bullish. So first time in 2 years it's gotten up to this level. This big downtrend against the S&P 500 is starting to break, and it's now actually at new 3-month highs in relative strength. That's a nice place to look. Full stochastic getting up above 80, and you can see through most of this downtrend it was unable to do that. If we draw a line on the price here, we're just starting to break out to new highs. I like the fact that it's right here around 10. And again, this stock got all the way to 5 and was up at 40 just 2 years ago. So perhaps it could get some upside momentum. And a lot of this was trade related. So if this is going to start to run, this is a really nice place to step on board. And the PPO, you can see, had a downtrend. Probably this is a better line for it. But I also like the fact that this main run is starting to break, and it's almost pushing above zero. This is a really tempting chart for me in Commodityville. I like this kind of thing. And if this can push up, I would expect that this can go from 10 to 20 a lot easier than Shopify can go from 800 to 1600. So I like that, what could double more. This chart looks to me like it's built a nice base, and I like the fact that it's starting to break through its relative strength barriers. The scooter ranking is suggesting some of the price moves are the strongest they've seen, and this little 3-week consolidation suggests it could be ready to light a fire underneath it. So when you get some of these names, again, the first way we looked at it was just saying what had the biggest moves this week. And when the charts are set up like that, I think it's helpful. If we take the scooter ranking here, you can just see, you can look at different ways to sort the data. But the most important thing, I think, when you're taking when you're trying to work through different charts, is feel free to sort them a different way, and you'll find every now and then something else jumps out. Here's SQM. I like this one because it's involved in the lithium trade. It's been a big downtrend here. I did a whole thing on the pitch last week with StockCharts. You can catch that on the YouTube channel, and it's one of my favorite trades out there, looking for industrial metals and specialty chemicals for the battery world as we move out of electric cars, or into electric cars. Anyway, this chart's also trying to shape up here. You can see it's almost getting above zero. It was a $54 stock, got down to 15. It's now 25, but one of the biggest lithium producers in the world. And anyway, I would encourage you to just take the time to sort through this, sort through different ways, and even from the same data set, take it and sort it and just see if you find some other charts. Or if you're sitting there and you have to get stuck watching The Bachelor or whatever, then you can roll through these charts quickly and still look interested in something. And hopefully you'll find that works out for you. So if from any of these charts, hopefully you found something of interest. I also want to mention that in July, StockCharts is going to do a big, what looks good for the second half. And I'm going to use a lot of the tools that I did today, but I'm going to try and broaden that out and find some really interesting stocks to look at. So if you can try and find that on your schedule, we're going to be highlighting that quite a bit over the next few weeks, and try and block that off. We'd appreciate the audience. On the pitch, I was on the show last week, and we just did it in May and in June. But I was on with Julius de Kempenaar and Mary Ellen McGonigal, and as well my time frame, and Tom Boley was there too. So hopefully, if you get a chance to check that out, there were some really nice ideas presented, and some of the, what's the right way? All of us look at the markets different. Julius uses a lot of momentum rotation, and I really like his work. Mary Ellen buys growth stocks over and over, and she's found some big winners here this year. And I like to try and find something that somebody else isn't reporting on. I'm doing the whole big initiative, or I did the whole initiative on the move into electric cars, and some of the ways to play that. Outside of that, on my site, I'll be setting up a whole chart list and a whole group of stocks within there. Some that'll have even bigger growth levels, and hopefully you might find some trades over there if you're interested. And you can always go look. I have subscriptions starting for $79, and maybe there's something there that interests you. So thanks for taking the time to join me on Market Buzz. Market Buzz airs Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You can also see the recordings on the StockCharts TV YouTube page, and you'll find more information on my website. I've got links to the Market Buzz shows there. So thanks for taking the time to join me. Have a good week. I know it's volatile out there. VIX was up around 40, but try and keep looking for the good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, if you did, give us a like down below, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial minds. We'll see you back here very soon. Happy charting, my friends.